Hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of War for the Planet of the Apes. And before we get started, let me just say, Matt Reeves, you magnificent bastard. So War for the Planet of the Apes is the third movie in the prequel Apes trilogy, following Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, both of which I reviewed on my channel yesterday and the day before. I'll leave links in the description if you want to check those out. The movie is directed by Matt Reeves and it stars Andy Serkis, Woody Harrelson, Steve Zahn, Amiah Miller, and Karin Konoval. After the apes suffer unimaginable losses, Caesar wrestles with his darker instincts and begins his own mythic quest to avenge his kind. First thing I want to point out, and I'm not gonna go into detail here, but the title of this movie, War for the Planet of the Apes, while it's a great title, it's kind of a misnomer. And I'll leave it at that. Now let's talk about the acting first. It's kind of a given. Woody Harrelson is a mean mother in this flick. He is very clearly channeling Colonel Kurtz. And what I loved about his character was that his character's motivation, as crazy as it is, it makes sense. And I bought it the whole way. The movie is kind of a war of ideologies, but you'll see what I mean when you see the flick. I would argue that this is the best performance Andy Serkis has ever given, or at least of all the movies of his that I've seen. And because the technology has really come a long way, there were moments where I could absolutely see Andy Serkis' face in Caesar's. I also thought it was really cool that, Caesar's looking a little bit older. He's got the salt and pepper fur happening. Very cool. You really do see Andy Serkis' face come through in the rage and the anguish. Really, really powerful. I felt it very profoundly. Karin Konoval reprises her role as Maurice. She played him in the first two movies as well, and she brings an almost, Maurice is a male character, but she brings a very sort of maternal quality to him, and it's actually really, really moving. The big surprise for me was Steve Zahn's character. Now, I love Steve Zahn. I've been a fan of Steve Zahn since like Suburbia and That Thing You Do, and Saving Silverman, if you've never seen it, it's really funny. And he's always been more of a comedic actor. He's done some dramatic roles, but he's more of a comedic actor. He does have great comic timing, but I was a little bit worried about his character. His character is named Bad Ape, and he is given like the role of levity in this movie. There's also a sadness to his character, but when we first meet his character, it really felt like it could have gone either way. It could have been almost too jokey and silly. He's fantastic. And Amiah Miller, she reminds me a lot of Daphne Keene's performance in Logan. She doesn't really say a lot in the movie. She does all of her emoting just with her face and with her eyes, and she really does a great job. And like I said, this movie it's a very emotional film. There's anguish, there's rage, there's fear, there's humor, there's hope, there's joy. But it is a very heavy and bleak film, and I really think it needed to be that. This flick has a very distinct look. It's very, very different from the other two movies in the series. The color palette really is kind of black and white. Much of the movie takes place in like a snowy mountain region, and the black and white color palette reflects that in the snow and the rock and the gunmetal. Okay, let's talk about the negatives about this movie. Here we go. There is a scene where one ape is looking in one direction, and another ape signs something to him. And the first ape responds, despite the fact that he was looking in a different direction and couldn't have seen the signing. And that's it. That's all I've got. That's all the negatives I have for this movie. I think you can tell I loved this film. I loved it. I haven't looked back on all the movies I've seen this year so far, but I think this might be my favorite that I've seen. And I really do think it is, with this finale, and hopefully it's a finale, I'll get to that in a minute, but I think the Apes franchise is now up amongst the best trilogies of all time. It's up there with Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, the Dark Knight trilogy. Interestingly enough, between the Dark Knight franchise and this Apes franchise, in both cases, the worst movie of the three were Rise and Rises. Okay, well, I find that interesting. Whatever. Now, Matt Reeves has said he has ideas for more stories in this franchise, and honestly, I don't want him to do it. I think this is such a pretty perfect story arc from beginning to end. I think just leave it where it is, man. Let it be. Let it be. But in all seriousness, Matt Reeves, I know you're watching this. You did an amazing job, a hell of a job with the second and third movies. So, my friend, go forth and make Batman. We're all looking forward to it. I want to talk about motion capture. There is a debate on whether or not motion capture performances should be up for Best Acting awards. Some people argue it's, hard to tell how much is the actual performer and how much is the visual effects team. I get the arguments. Here's what I say. Motion capture isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's going to become even more prevalent going forward. I think it's high time the Academy starts to consider putting in a brand new category, Best Actor or Actress in a motion capture performance. Do it. And then give Andy Serkis all of the Oscars. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to give War for the Planet of the Apes. And I think I'm going to give War for the Planet of the Apes, together, strong, out of 10. So what do you think? Have you seen War for the Planet of the Apes? What's your favorite movie in the Apes franchise? And let me know in the comments as well. Do you guys want them to do more films in this series, or do you want them to leave it as a trilogy? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below. Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this review, please smash that like button and give it a share if you really liked it, because it really does help me to build this channel, and that's awesome. I also want to say happy Game of Thrones weekend. Game of Thrones is finally back on Sunday, and just so you guys know, I'm going to be doing spoilers reviews for every single episode, so those will probably be going up on Mondays. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see that kind of stuff, and if you do want to subscribe, you can click the Courtshake logo at the bottom right of your screen. And just a quick little thing that I want to say, and then I'll get out of your hair. This is my 50th video, which in YouTube terms is nothing at all, but you know what, for me it's kind of a cool little milestone, and I just want to say thank you to you guys for supporting this channel, for watching my videos. It means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.